I'm Matt.
I'm Shane, and you are about to listen to an excerpt from a Comic Movie Marks podcast.
So if you like what you hear, make sure you hit that like button real hard, and make sure you subscribe to Comic Movie Marks. And always remember,
If Trailer Trash can do it,
anyone can do it. So now we're going to get into our lists. We're going to have our end of the year list and going into this year's list too and shit like that.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be completely out of order on this because that's how the marks work.
yes, exactly.
We're going to have come out with...
We're going to swerve you just to swerve you.
Yep.
Or because we're not prepared.
Exactly.
One of those two.
Kind of slapstick this shit together, as you can tell.
Yep, exactly.
So we're going to talk about some things that we've seen on Instagram, people talking about the best and worst villains of 2017 in comic book movies.
Yes.
And I don't know if we're going to... How are we going to do this, Shane?
Well, I have a list of my top comic book villains. I didn't really pick any worst. I was just going to spitball some other random ones out there.
Well, then you should really keep going with that. Because I came in very ill-prepared.
All right, so my best villains of 2017 were, I have a couple honorable mentions. Ares from Wonder Woman. I'll probably go into more detail when we do our recap of our comic book movies of 2017, which is not in this episode.
Nope.
I really enjoy Ares. I think people need to give him a little bit more credit. I've now seen Wonder Woman a couple more times, and I can appreciate him a little bit more. Another one of my honorable mentions, which I don't know if this actually counts, because it's not necessarily a comic book movie. It's just more of another universe. But Kevin Crumb from Split, or all of his personalities. I kind of threw that in there. I love that movie. I can't wait to see what Shyamalama Ding Dong does with his whole universe. M. Night Shyamalan. I'm excited to see where it goes, and I just wanted to throw that out there. I thought for being a villain in that movie and kind of in a superhero universe, just a different one, I thought it worked well.
So my honorable mentions would be Tony Stark from Spider-Man Homecoming.
All right.
I'm very ill prepared for this. The Joker from the Lego Batman movie would be another honorable mention. Hold on.
Those are great fucking honorable mentions. All right, should we jump into number 5?
Hold on, I may have one more depending on how far I get down this list.
Zach Galifianakis made it on your list at some point.
Awesome. Yeah, let's get into our top 5.
All right, my number 5 is Hela from Thor. What is it?
World.
Yeah. What the fuck is
Ragnarok.
it? Ragnarok. Holy shit! I wanted to say Dark World.
Yeah, so did I.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, that's why I called it Assworld.
Right. It works for me. Might as well be. From Ragnarok. There's some disappointing moments in that movie, but I thought she was a bright spot. I enjoyed her character. In some moments, could have been a little bit better, but overall, she's a badass at certain parts. So she's my number 5.
Okay, we're going back and forth on this? Man, I was really going to listen to your list. And
okay. So my number 4 is, even though people kind of shit all over his dialogue and it could have been a lot better, Steppenwolf is my number 4. I do enjoy him. I think he's a little bit more powerful than people give him credit for. Yeah, he was neutered a little bit in the Joss Whedon version. Yeah. But overall, I think he's pretty badass.
Okay.
Want me to keep going?
No, I think I got to say so. My number 5. We'll do 2 and 2, and then 1.
Yeah, exactly.
What a countdown.
That works.
So my number 5 would be Steppenwolf. I guess my likes towards him are what were in the trailers. The fact that he introduced, with his voice alone, introduced Green Lanterns into the DCEU with his voice alone in a trailer, saying no lanterns, no protectors. I fucking love that. Why it wasn't in the movie somehow. Just even if they don't want to go with what was apparently him talking to a mother box or something, find a way to insert it, like in the old battle or something. I don't know. Find a way to fucking, like, what he's talking to Mama Hippolyta or whatever, Mama Wonder, like, fucking make him say it then or something. Insert it there.
Well, it was obviously said at some point in the movie, so why the fuck can you have left it in?
He was talking to the mother box.
Oh, right. Okay.
Remember, he was building those together, and because the mother Vader is in the mother box and stuff like that. He was talking to that when he said it. But, like, insert it into the fucking, like, the end of the battle when he's fucking up all those goddamn Amazonians and shit like that. And he's talking to Mama Wonder there, like, oh, you love me, or whatever the fuck he was trying to say. Insert it there. Fuck it. The CGI is terrible. No one would have noticed the lip movement.
Right.
It would have been fine. Who cares? Insert it there, and it would have worked just fine. He could have been like, there's no Kryptonians, no protectors, blah, blah, blah. Insert it there. Fuck. Anyway. So I still thought he was kind of a cool character. He had some potential. I guess some people might be brought back by that we have Steppenwolf on the list. And unfortunately, it's generated by the fact, and I'll be wholeheartedly admit to this, by things we didn't see in the movie.
Yeah, I agree with that. And
that's by what we saw in those little deleted scenes, supposed deleted scenes, and what was in the trailer.
Well, and there are parts in the movie, like when he's talking about the blood of the Amazonians is still on his axe or something, something along those lines. He had some moments. He had some moments in that when he's fighting the Amazonians. That was pretty badass. The one thing that I didn't even realize until I started seeing some other stuff circle around, but if you look at Steppenwolf in the extended version of Batman v Superman and how he is in this, he definitely looks a lot more menacing in Batman v Superman. So I'm curious why the change. It almost would have been cool to have that voice and everything, but in the Batman v Superman version, he just looks a little more evil and less human. I guess.
There was even a concept art going around, which we posted on our Instagram.
Right, yeah.
And I think that was more of what the Batman versus Superman version was.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so
again, more menacing.
Yeah, it was more menacing. Less facial features because his helmet kind of crowded over it. So that would have even helped the CGI a little bit. I don't know where it came down. It's like, what is it? Ultron having teeth. Remember that shit?
Right.
It's like the studios or somebody has this weird fascination. Joss Whedon did both.
Anyway, someone
has this weird fascination with facial expressions on the villains, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Even when they don't need them, a robot doesn't fucking need teeth.
No, definitely not.
So my number 4 would be Hela. Again, like Shane said, off and on with her. I loved what she started, and I wish this is the way the movie would have went ultimately, but when she tore down that memorial in the ceiling, and I saw that, I was like, this is where that movie should fucking go. I knew it was going to go off into a whole different beaten path and a bunch of jokey jokes and fuck and everything else, but
it didn't have fuck, but no,
it had a lot of innuendos, orgies,
true,
Hulk dick, Hulk ass,
true,
and so a lot of obsession with sex, but never pulled it off.
Right. Or pulled it out.
Jerked it off. Anyway. Never quite finished it.
What? Pull your damn pants up, boy. I don't want to see that. Damn it. Get out of here. And if I ever catch you whacking in here again, I'm going to hog tie you.
Blue balled the whole thing. But when she started breaking down that memorial and she's talking about what Asgard's past was and how she was responsible for it and the conquering and everything, it sounded like Rome type situation, just leveling everything and shit. I really loved that part.
Yeah.
I love what her history was. Ultimately, though, she just became a person yelling at the...
Yeah, but by the end of it, but she had that when she's fighting the, I guess it would be the Asgardian army or whatever, the soldiers, and she's just whooping their ass. That's some awesome, that's such a great scene. I love that. So she definitely, she wasn't as nerfed as a lot of the other Marvel villains have been in the past. So I thought she was menacing. Eventually, it doesn't come full circle, but yeah, I agree. So my number 3, again, I don't know if this actually would count as a comic book movie, but Kylo Ren would be my number 3.
You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
No, it doesn't, but good job.
Okay. So I had Kevin Crumb and Kylo Ren on my list, but I couldn't come up with anyone
Superhero
else.
movies, we'll just call it like that.
Yes.
Jedi
exactly.
are superheroes. So
I think there were some Star Wars comics that spun off.
Yes, there is.
So
they didn't originate from
right. That's okay.
Now you just fucked my list.
I'm still going with Kylo Ren.
Whatever.
I don't know who else. I'm panicking.
Well,
all right. So Ares moves up to number 3, just out of nowhere. No,
I run
for being one of the.
This fucking show sucks.
We're rolling with it. We're rolling with it.
This is so unplanned. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
I think that's what's so perfect.
Yes, sure.
That's how it works.
That's what people are here for, right?
Yeah, exactly. So Kylo Ren, to me, when I was never more happy to be wrong, and he was definitely one of the bright spots from The Last Jedi. In The Force Awakens, to me, he was just a ripoff of Darth Vader. And in the Last Jedi, he totally broke off from that, broke away from it, and became his own character. And he's a badass, and you feel it. And again, I said that Driver is not that great of an actor with Force Awakens, proven wrong again. So I was happy with that. Do you want me to give my number 2?
Go for it.
All right. So my number 2
was it from 2015?
yes, it is.
So we're not keeping any fucking
it's Lex Luthor from the little Zack Snyder scene that we had in Justice League. Because it was so awesome.
Deathstroke.
Yeah, Deathstroke. Yeah, that's who it should be. My number 2 is Vulture. I really, from Spider-Man Homecoming, You're giving me this weird look.
Okay.
I purchased Spider-Man Homecoming when it came out.
Congratulations.
When you watch that movie, well, that's why you know that I'm not buying Ragnarok, but I'm definitely going to buy Justice League. When you watch that movie, I have come to enjoy that movie a lot more than I did the first go around in the theaters. I really love Michael Keaton's character. I really love everything that he stands for. He's a relatable villain that you root for in certain parts, and I enjoy that. It's one of the reasons I enjoyed Zod from Man of Steel. He's relatable in some aspects. You kind of not fully root for Zod, but you get it. And Vulture's awesome. So yeah, it's my number 2. Go ahead, number 3.
My number 3 is Nega Logan from Logan, X-24, I guess is what they're gonna call him. But he was my number 3. Basically, a younger, better-looking version of Logan that should have won the ultimate fight,
whooped ass,
but got cheap-shotted by a little girl with a pistol. So. Ultimately,
cheap-shotted. Yeah,
cheap-shotted. Fucking totally blindsided. Didn't even have a chance. This gangster shit. Anyway, number 2 is gonna be Kevin Crumb. What was his name?
Yeah, Kevin Crumb.
Yeah, from Split. Because this is a superhero list.
Yeah, exactly. Not a comic book list.
Yeah,
so it works.
It's a superhero list, so we're gonna go with that. I thought he was pretty sweet. Again, if you haven't seen Split, we won't ruin anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In case you haven't seen it, but you got to check that out. Awesome movie. I find it super fascinating. The concept of it all and personalities, split personalities. It does a very, very good job to open up a new universe for the Shamalanga Ding Dong.
Yeah, and it's a more suspenseful movie, less of a thriller than I had expected originally. So yeah, definitely, as Matt said, go watch it. You have to check it out. And in turn, you also need to check out Unbreakable as well.
Yep.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Okay, Shane, you're number 1.
All right, my number 1 is Donald Pierce / X-24 from Logan. I thought, and one of the reasons why Donald, I don't even know what they call him. I remember Pierce. I had to look it up what his character name was, but I feel like he's pretty badass in Logan, and the whole X-24 thing. That's why I had to do both of them. Is holy shit. There are moments I love when in movies when you're like cringing for the hero and you're hating the villain and you're like, holy fuck, the villain is just beating the fuck out of him. And that's how X-24 was in Logan. And holy shit, like you feel that entire movie is full of so many different emotions. And one of them being like, holy shit, can Logan finally like actually return some hits a little bit? You know,
you're gonna get any offense,
any at all. Yeah, phenomenal. I really love that movie and the villains. That's such a huge part of comic book movies and superhero movies in general. You have to have a really solid villain, and I love it. I think it worked. X-24, my number 1.
Okay, my number 1 is Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming. I thought for sure that was going to be your number one. That's why I gave you a look.
Okay, now it's coming full circle. I'm like, wow, what? You're disagreeing with me here?
No, I just thought it was an obvious number one. And so, for a second there, I started thinking, like, you're not going to give Ego fucking number one.
No, he didn't make honorable mention.
Yeah, the Joker from the Lego movie. So I was really worried for you there for a second. I thought I was going to have to kick you out of the studio.
I think just because... Yeah, the studio. I think just because the whole movie of Logan hits harder for me. But yeah, all right, go ahead. Vulture, number one. Okay.
Yeah, Vulture. I mean, I still say to this point right now, at this point in the MCU, he's the best villain in the MCU. Yeah. I mean, some people disagree with that. Some people may have other ones that they like more, Loki or some shit like that, or whatever the fuck else happened, I don't know. But I still think he's the best villain, most relatable villain, had a decent little, tidy little twist on it, actually had something a little bit different to it compared to MCU movies. I thought he was fantastic. That car ride with Peter is by far one of the MCU's best moments. Absolutely. That has no action in it.
Yeah.
Well, to a point. Yeah. But it's strictly thrill. It's strictly drama. It's fantastic. Keaton does a great job. The guy that plays Spider-Man does a great job. Whatever.
I wanted to say Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
Yeah, I wanted to say Hardy for some reason.
Oh yeah, Venom. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, is there a kind of?
Oh yeah, it's all in the same universe.
MCU. No. Oh God, no. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. You're one of very few to make it to the end.
Yes, thank you very much.
Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Comic Movie Marks Podcast and hit the notification bell. You know, all these fucking YouTube channels say this shit, so I'm going to say it now.
Yes, it's perfect. And if you want to hear our full podcast, you can check out our podcast on iTunes or any other podcast subscription service.
Make sure you subscribe. Thanks again.